everybody, how's it going? We're just doing a mic and audio check and video check before we get started. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me. We have about 230 people registered for today's webinar, and it's going to be a great day. So give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear us and see us.
It's not the chat, it's the question.
Now, you guys, a couple housekeeping items before we do get started. You're going to have the opportunity to ask Charles anything at the end. So throughout the interview, feel free just to drop in any questions in the same chat box, and this webinar will be recorded. All righty. So
cool. Enjoy. I'm just going to say hi really quick. What's up, everybody? Charles is a genius. You're going to love it. Sarah's got a great interview. He's cracking the conversion code without a phone. I mean, that's a big deal. And that's what we do at Curaytor. So you guys enjoy it. I'm taking off. Good luck, Sarah. Enjoy it, Charles. Thanks to everyone that tuned in this week. Yep.
See you, Chris. Alrighty, so one of the best things about Curaytor is our amazing community of top real estate agents and teams and their commitment to always learning, masterminding, and helping each other out. So we decided to share the love and bring on some of our top, most successful clients to talk about their journey and to give you guys some best practices and advice. My name is Sarah Mailloux, and I'm the sales manager over at Curaytor. Joining me today is Charles Burgess from Epic Life Realty in North Carolina, and we'll be talking to Charles about how he attracts people to his business, and he does lead conversion without dialing for dollars. He actually uses some of the same marketing strategies we use here at Curaytor to grow his own business, and he's becoming the go-to agent in his market and almost the Chris and Jimmy of his town. So welcome, Charles. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, so I'd like to just get everybody to know you a little bit better before we kind of get going. So I'd like to talk a little bit about your team. So right now you have a partner named Blue, and he loves working with buyers. You love working with sellers, and you have 5 additional agents. I know you've grown quite a bit in the past 3 years or so. Can you just talk to us about where you guys were at 3 years ago in your business?
Yeah, so I had been at my stepdad's business out of out of college. So since I was about 22, came back and started there. So I've been in the business about 12 years now. And after about that 9th year, had got to #1 in the MLS. I was doing very well on my own, but it was just totally unsustainable. I couldn't do it anymore. I was not no free time, no fun time. It was all work, and just something I wasn't really enjoying. And Blue worked there with us. Blue's my business partner. And we just, neither one of us were really enjoying the whole entire spectrum of being an agent. There was just parts of each one of us that we really liked more than others. And so we decided to team up and take the business, out on our own and actually run a team, run it more like a business instead of just being, agents who are trying to wear 17, 18, 20 different hats every day. And so, our business was founded out of pain points in terms of both of our own day-to-day. So 3 years ago on Thanksgiving, well, a little over 3 years ago, but Thanksgiving of 2015, we actually launched out on our own. We were part of Keller Williams at that point, and we were for the first 3 years. Got a great foundation there, put together an administrative team, which is a listing coordinator and a closing coordinator. And then from that point, started growing agents, adding other buyers agents and agents on the team. Now, like you said, we're up to actually let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6 right now, with maybe a 7th extra coming on. So the team is like 9 to 10, depending on if you count one of our part-time guys who's more of a land specialist. So it's grown pretty quick. It has, even in the last little bit. And I think a lot of that's to do with just how we approach the whole business. We're actually making it fun and enjoyable again. And this past Thanksgiving, on our 3-year mark, we went out on our own and started our own independent brokerage, which I think we'll talk a little bit about why we did that and why it was important to us. But that's, Epic Life. I mean, it was more to us than just a business anymore. It was, how could we actually start using our very successful real estate platform here in a smaller area to make a real big impact in the community and help everybody live a more epic life? Because that's what we started out when we founded the team, and that's what we want to continue to do. And there's some parts of this business that just aren't very epic from day to day.
Yeah, I'm sure. So with all the choices with, staying in KW, sounds like you were a little bit established there. And then we see a lot of agents going to Compass and EXP, and there's definitely a lot of options. Why did you choose to do the independent route?
Our area, honestly, is really rural and small. And
Yep.
we have a saying around here, and we've said it before a lot, even on some of our talks, is we feel like we're Hulk in a puddle. So instead of being in a really, really big market that sort of gets washed out and watered down, we're a really big presence and impact here in a small market. And that's helped us a lot. And so to us, our brand was more about us. It was our names before it was Burgess, Pittman and Company at Keller Williams, which, helped sort of solidify that it was Blue and I. But as the team started to grow, we realized it wasn't going to be just us forever. It already wasn't us. So, the KW was a great resource for us. It was a great tool. It helped us lay a really good foundation. It put a lot of contacts and resources in front of us, agents that we could reach out to, that we could lean in on and ask questions, a lot like we do here in the mastermind. And honestly, I think things like this mastermind with Curaytor that we have just became more valuable than the actual name on a franchise to us. And so we realized what we were really using them for, we were able to sort of replace and supplement other ways. And the ability to go out and build something of your own. I mean, as an entrepreneur, that's at my heart. So that was something I really, really enjoyed and loved. And I just wanted to have something that was a piece of my own.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you guys really focus on your culture and building a culture as you expand the business. So that's really great to see. Now, when you guys are doing something a little bit different in regards to your lead conversion. So when people think about lead conversion, they really think about pounding the phones and call blocks and making, a bunch of dials a day. And I love that you're doing it a little bit differently. And you're actually giving your agents, when they come on board, a game plan to succeed. And they're actually prospecting on social media. Can you talk a little bit about what that really specific game plan looks like for your agents?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're very focused on here is just how do you stay relevant and engaged with the people that you're serving, whether they be clients, or we call them clients for life, not necessarily past clients, because we want them around forever. How do you stay engaged with them and relevant? How do you stay engaged with your community? I don't think that has to be on the phone. I think today, the tech world we live in, we're all connected in so many more ways that the phone itself and making a phone call has it'll still work, but it's not quite as easy as others. I think they're all sort of, we use the analogy of they're tools in a tool belt. There's lots of tools you could use. Sometimes you need a screwdriver, sometimes you need a hammer, sometimes you need a pry bar. It just depends on what you've got. And we've just chosen and try to approach our work from a more of a tract-based business where we don't need the pry bars quite as much. We don't need to go in there and really try to hammer down and force things into place. We're a little bit more finesse, a little bit more work up on the front end, using some of the gifts that we've been given, like social media, like your Instagrams, your Facebooks, just ways to stay connected with people that all it does is it really, really shortens and improves the quality of the time that it takes from person to contact you to actually stay in touch and work them through a process, whether it's a phone call, a text, an email, a Facebook message, an Instagram direct message. We're more interested in just how do we stay belly to belly and relevant to people. And we've found way more success doing that, not on the phones, but, using some of these tools.
Yeah. Can you give me an example if I was one of your agents and I was going to reach out to people on Facebook or send them a video? Do you have kind of an idea of reach out to this many people per day or comment on this many people per day? What does that plan look like?
Yeah. So one of the things we talked about that we've done, especially in my role, is I've sort of stepped out of some of the day-to-day stuff and actually start having the ability to work on these systems and processes for our team is, we use Trello. A lot of people are familiar with that. So we have it's called the Epic Prospecting Blueprint. That's our blueprint for how agents can go in. It's a toolbox per se to go into with ideas, some swipe and deploy type things. So building Instagram stories for them that I'll build with new listings, for example. And so we give them sort of a day-by-day approach, certain things that you want to do every day, and others that are very custom to the content that we're putting out or the new listings that we're putting on right then. It's something that honestly I learned a lot from you guys is you know, when you started giving us that as customers, I'm like, wow, my agents could use this. Why don't I take the same idea and just rebuild it in a format that they'll use? It became more of it wasn't they were afraid to do the work. They wanted to do the work. They want to, I mean, they're in real estate for a reason. They want to make the money. It was more of I don't know who to talk to. And if you tell me who to talk to and give me a bunch of names and numbers, I don't necessarily always know what to talk to them about. So I built out the prospecting blueprint with things like, one example you guys love, because you got one and Jillian got one, is every day, like it's at the top of the list, is go to Facebook, pull up the birthdays for your friends and send them a video message. And I do the goofy ones, like they just took it away and I don't know why, but the clown face where you got the clown hair and the nose and it does the sounds, you know, it seems goofy. And some people, I think they feel weird or awkward doing that, but they are the best responses I get. Our clients love them. My friends love them. And like, that's one example of, and people think, well, what does that have to do with real estate? Well, I think doing real estate is more about being relevant and sort of breaking into people's attention each day. They're bombarded with so many things. Like, how can you stay relevant without constantly being the guy who, you know, always talks about real estate, always talks about business, always wants to ask for a referral? I'm not interested in that. I don't like that. I don't want my insurance agent calling me and, you know, asking me, who do you know that needs to, you know, some insurance that you could refer me? That I don't like that. So I'm not doing business in a way that I don't like personally. I know it works for some people, but we try to come up with those little ways to do those things. And that's a fun one that, you know, they can take each day. And I can give other examples if you want.
Yeah, no, that was really helpful. And I love the video. Yeah, you sent me a video and you sent Jillian a video. John's going to actually drop it in the chat so you guys can see it. But
oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
There's a really funny clown one. But I'm sure you get a ton of responses. Like, I got a lot of messages on my Facebook page, and I definitely, we chatted back and forth, and I'm sure you and Jillian did too. So I think it's a great way to get people to respond. And even our ISA, Amber, she uses video all the time. If we're trying to get a hold of a lead or trying to get a contract back, and people are slow to respond, if you take the time and do a personalized video, people feel more inclined that you went the extra mile, and then you get those responses. So I think it's a fun way to shake things up for sure.
Well, and video, even without the birthday stuff, if you can find a reason to use the video that just showcases your personality, yourself, like that's what makes us all unique. That's why people do business with people. And you know, they love the fact that we have standards of practice that they can live up to that are high quality, but they're still doing business with people. They like doing business with people they feel comfortable with, that they know they like. And that's just one great way to build trust and stay relevant without, you know, feeling like you're constantly on the ask kind of wavelength with them versus, you know, providing some value. So that's an easy, quick one that anybody can do, you know, every single day. That's anywhere from probably 3 to 10 every day that I do.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't matter where they're at, you know, so if you're looking for people to contact, that's just, okay, there's one piece of a whole list of ideas that we're giving them on a daily basis.
Awesome. Yeah. And I know Chris and Jimmy have really done that through the water cooler, just showing their personalities, you know, and then getting people to like, know, and trust them and learn from them that way. So I think it's all about being yourself and adding value. So that's awesome. Now, I know throughout the Curaytor community, there's a ton of people that are just video superstars like Amy Youngren, the Tim Smith group, the Holder team. What have you learned through the Curaytor community on doing videos? Any tips or takeaways?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one of the things that we stalk. I mean, we feel like we're very active in the group, and you know, we're watching, taking notes. One of the things I think is key that I've learned on video is that everybody's unique, and once you find your own style in video, things that you enjoy doing, video content that you really actually that you're not just good at, maybe passionate about, maybe you just have a more of a drive to do it for one reason or the other. Those are the videos that you're able to execute on and be consistent and disciplined with. And that's the key for us right now. And things that we've learned is, I watch Jordan Rossman. He's awesome with his interviews and his local Why Aurelia, you know, his whole page that he's built out on there. So Jordan and I have had a lot of conversations about that. was on the panel with them at Excellence with Amy, and talking with Amy about some of the stuff that she's doing. That's just, I mean, the Barbara Corcoran of, of real estate at this point, like kind of upcoming. It's true. She's making a name and a brand for herself, but it's in her own way. And so that's what we've sort of taken and done. And we've tried to find some pieces of pillar content that we can really dive in deep on and go deep week after week and month after month versus, we've tried a lot of stuff. I'm not afraid to try things and fail. I'll pull the plug on them if they don't work. I'll try another one next week. I'm not afraid of that. So that is one thing I think we're very gifted with, is that we don't fear failure around here. But trying to sometimes land on something that you can really dive in deep with is harder. And, we found a few, and I think we're going to talk about some of those today.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. And I also wanted to share our recent blog post, the Oscar-worthy videos, and we featured one of Charles's videos, so you guys can check it out. And it's when he launched his new brokerage, Epic Life. And Charles, I feel like I can't interview you without asking you about working out, because on your video you have a camera crew, following you as you're going on a jog, and I can kind of relate to that just because I try to go to the gym, 4 or 5 days a week, and I feel like it just is so good for me, just like my positive mindset and staying focused and relieving stress, and I really make it a priority for my life. And especially, being in sales, I feel like it just helps with everything as far as, staying positive and having that energy. So can you talk to me about just your take on working out? I know you like to post videos and you have like a hashtag, did you sweat today or something? Yeah. So what's your take on that?
Man, exercise and fitness to me is multifold. One is, in a sort of chaotic world that we live in and real estate that we do, where things are, changing from minute to minute and day to day. I look forward to working out. Like, I've tried working out in the mornings. Okay. I don't like working out first thing in the mornings. I'm not really a morning person to start with, but I've found that I like working out in the afternoons better, because it's actually a mental break from everything else that's going on. So when you're stressed out, or if you're really busy and you feel like you're constantly, working and behind, sometimes just having that mental break right in the middle of the day. And I'm not talking about lunch. Like I'm a 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon kind of workout, but it gives me something to look forward to. So, I really enjoy working out. I enjoy the aspect of it. So that's one thing for me, is it's like something every day to look forward to. Some people go to work all through the week looking forward to the weekends. I look forward to workouts, each day as sort of a break. A second part is, the gym is no different than your church or your kids' soccer travel team, or going to volunteer at the local animal shelter. It's a way to get face to face with people as well. Like, if you literally sit in your office all day, every day, you're not seeing people as much. So the gym to me is just another networking event. Like, I get in there and I work, but I've made a lot of friends and stay in touch with a lot of people who are in there day after day after day. That comes back to us because they see that it's like a totally different side of me they see, in terms of, it's not the work, constantly on video talking about real estate side. It's the, he's in there grinding away. He's making, changes with his physique. He's getting healthy. It's like, he's disciplined. I can see that. Okay, cool. This is, this guy's got some other hobbies and activities outside of just work. And, people connect with that sometimes more than real estate. And so it makes those, I don't want to say prospecting hours, but I'm counting that as a prospecting hour on my side.
I like it. That's awesome. Yeah. So let's get into some of the other content that you're doing that's not real estate related. So you have your Epic Pets, which I think is super cool, where you try to use social media to get pets adopted, which is amazing. And then you have your Epic Gratitude, where you film the end of your sales meeting and talk about what you guys are grateful for. And then it's really to get that engagement. John's going to drop it in the chat, but you had like 1,400 views in your recent Epic Gratitude, where people comment and then you hand out swag. So what inspired you, and why did you guys want to put out content that's the non-real estate related?
Okay, so one, I feel like I need to give a really, really quick example of just it's our favorite analogy of how we like to approach business. It's what I talk to all of our newer agents about. It's what we've really shaped a lot of our things about. And some people love this and some people think it's crazy, but I want, in terms of trying to attract business, I want to be, so if you go to a bar or a restaurant and you enter and, you come there, I don't want to be the guy who runs up to you at the door and says, hey, can I buy you a drink? Or, hey, would you like to go out on a date with me? Or, I don't want to approach it that way. That to me is kind of like the whole phone animal, the dial for dollars, the just find a name, nothing about them, and then start asking them and trying to convince them that you're the best fit. Okay, so we're approaching it totally different. I want to be one of the guys who's over at a big table in the corner who's, telling great stories and hooting and hollering about things they've done in their life or that they're doing on a daily basis, that you have a great group of people who are having fun. You can tell they enjoy themselves. They just look like a fun crew with great energy. And then have those people sort of be interested in finding out, what is it about that group? What is it about those people? It sounds like they're having a great time. I want to go figure that out. Or, then they maybe ask the bartender or somebody else there, like, what's up with that group? Why is that table having so much fun? And, it's kind of like, so we approach it that way. So we were looking, I'll tie us back to the content. We were looking for what are our stories? What are the things that we're passionate about? What are the things that aren't real estate related that we actually do or enjoy or can help with? And that was where we came up with this. We're a very driven mindset group. I mean, we are very in a very thankful, positive way. We enjoy giving back to the community. We have, our platform here has sort of built us into a stage. It's like, all right, what do we do next? Is it just real estate or are we more than that? And, trying to figure out how do we make an impact in the community, it was a no-brainer. We all love pets. We've all had pets. I have multiple pets now, dogs now. I used to volunteer at the animal shelter when I was in high school at vet. So animals always been something I was super passionate about. And so it was like, oh, what if we can use the big social media following that we've built here locally? What if we can use that to actually help it's a no-kill animal shelter called Brother Wolf here. They have several locations around our area of West North Carolina and maybe even into Virginia and all. But how can we help them? They're not for profit. They're just trying to take care of these animals in our area. Never had a no-kill shelter. So how can we get involved? And so we decided hey, we're good at video. We enjoy it. But doing videos of houses over and over and over again sort of gets boring. And it's how many times can you say that this house has this and that and the other? And so, we were looking for more of a challenge, something more rewarding. It's we're good at video. Let's go see if they could use the help. Let's go build a series around the pets, and we'll pick one each month. Really the one that's been there the longest or might have the most trouble getting adopted. And let's get to know that animal. Let's go out and spend some time with them. Let's do some video. Let's showcase their personalities, because we know when people get to know us and our personalities, they tend to, warm up to you a little bit more online, so that when you are face to face, it's much easier. Well, let's do the same thing for the animals. Let's do that for the cats and the dogs. And so we've been doing that. We partner with them. We ask them, they were all for it. Any attention they can help get, they love it. And there's a lot of volunteers there who are passionate about it too. So they've all got behind it. They've shared the stuff. And so we're going out, we're doing we spend an hour out there once a month, and we videotape some of the animals. We get some of our B-roll footage to put together, a video, which you guys will link here, and we have. And then we feature one of the animals, and we tell all about the animal. We sit with the animal right in their lobby, and we have them on video with us. We go outside and play with them and showcase some of the things they do, some of the tricks. And we're helping that animal get some exposure. We're helping Brother Wolf get donations and get people who are willing to come. It makes us feel great because we're using our stuff for one. And it builds our audience online to more people who go, hey, these guys aren't just realtors. I can't remember. I think it was Phil Jones at Excellence. He's like, hey, what do you do? You're a realtor. Oh, no, I might catch it. Don't do that. To me was exactly, I think most people have that sort of mentality about us. It's no, we're real people and we have other hobbies. So that's been a big one. And then the second one is the mindset one. The mindset, the thankful, the positive, the gratitude at our weekly team meeting each week. That's how we start our meeting. Let's start it off on a positive note. And I didn't come up with that. That is something, coaches and all that we've been with, always started. And it was we just grew to love it. And it builds it sort of builds a sharing and open relationship with all your team and your agents, and not just another agent number, as part of an organization. We're part of a family here. And so we decided, well, how can we share? How can we get more people sharing that? Facebook and Instagram sometimes can get pretty ugly and negative. And, how can we share positive stuff? How can we get this out? And so we just do a quick Instagram video right after our Instagram live, no high quality production, It doesn't take long. We just hit live and go. And we just ask people, like, we tell them what we're thankful for or some positives and some wins from that week. And we ask them to comment and share with us some of their positives. And, you know, we love reading those things. And that, again, is just a way for us to stay engaging every week. And the reason why some of them are willing to share is because we have swag and we have hats, we have shirts, we have, you know, nice cups and stuff that we brand out. We're going to give those to people anyway. So it's like, why can't we just, if you comment and you actually say what you're thankful for, we'll enter you into a drawing and we'll just pick 2 a week. And, you know, over the course of a year, we get a lot of comments. We got a lot of engagement for our ads that we then run in the future for people to see. And they get some swag and, you know, some branding of ours goes out. So those are 2 of our big pillars that we do monthly and weekly that just keep us relevant.
Yeah. And as you know, with marketing, it's really important to do it consistently. So it sounds like you are doing this like on a consistent basis. Do you do the pets once a month and then the gratitude once a week? That's
right. And it was hard for us with listings if we were just doing new listings. I mean, if you go on a stretch where like right now, weather, it's so rainy here. We've had so many of our listings that were supposed to be out on listing. If all I did was listing videos, you wouldn't have seen us for 3 weeks because we haven't had that many new listings to go out. And, you know, so we were looking for something that was far more consistent. And I'll go back to Jordan. Jordan's why really it's consistent. It's weekly. He just needs to find another person to interview. So, you know, there was a lot of ways we could do that. Those were just the 2 we knew we were going to be really, they were easy to pull off on the right after the office meeting. Everybody's together and it's live on Instagram. The other one's a more edited, put together pet thing, but it's once a month. It takes about 3 hours start to finish now that I've sort of got the templates built, and I love it. I mean, I honestly love it. Yeah. Like it's not I have to do this. It's, man, I'm looking forward to going out and which animals are we going to get to see and like seeing people do it. Really quick side note. They sent a picture the very first time we ever did it. Candy, a really tough dog, really strong dog. She was super awesome, but she's just that pit bull look and very strong. And I remember the video that they sent to, or the picture they sent to me of Candy. A couple saw our video. They went to Brother Wolf. They took her home for a test run, and they were sending pictures of her laid up, you know, just all laid up on the couch, getting her belly rubbed. And it was like she was so happy that she got to try. And like that felt better than closing any deal I've closed all year. I mean, I promise you. So like it was rewarding as well. Yeah.
That's amazing. So I know you guys are doing a bunch of things online, but you also like to do events offline as well, and you do community events. Can you give me an example of a recent community event that you guys did?
Yeah, so we wanted to do one bigger event each quarter. The first quarter and the third quarter are going to be our community type events. The second quarter and the fourth quarter are our client-centered events. And so that gives us one per quarter to sort of market around and you know, actually be using just like we have the weekly, monthly, and that's a quarterly. So the one we just did is, it's called Epic Day. Again, I mentioned we were part of Keller Williams for the first 3 years, and one of our favorite things each year was Red Day. That's their day, you know, renew, energize, donate. We love that day. I mean, we got behind that 100%. And we started it. We had 3 years running of where we did a blood drive and a food drive. So the food drive for the local education backpack program, where they take in canned foods and box foods and things, and they actually pack backpacks for the kids who don't get enough to eat or don't have anything to eat when they go home. And so, you know, that's a big program for us, and we do food drives for those. And then of course we wanted the blood drive because that's a sort of a next easy thing to set up. So we do that. Every year we've done it, and so we wanted to stick with that with Epic Life, and so we had Epic Day, and Epic, just exceptional people impacting communities, and that's what our whole goal is with that, is how do we make an impact in our community? We have the exceptional people. We have attracted great team members. They love being here, and they want to give back too. So, you know, we ran that. That's a way for us to engage with our sphere. That's a reason to reach out to them and, you know, text message them and Facebook message them and talk to them in person about something that's going on once a quarter. Whereas, you know, most agents are wondering, what do we talk to our sphere about once a quarter? Why would I call them if I don't have anything to say? Well, how about do a community event and just invite them to come participate? They'll probably get behind it and help you anyway. And, you know, it's not just for that reason, but the two tie together very well. and they go hand in hand. And, you know, it accomplishes both sides of the spectrum, is, you know, making an impact and also staying, you know, in contact with the people that really drive our business.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned even the Epic Pets. It's not really the reason that you're doing it, but just getting yourself out there and doing really good work, that you actually are getting listings and working with buyers and attracting people through that. Yeah. Yeah.
Brad told me, Brad's one of our listing agents that's works with me. He told me that one of the most recent folks that came into us and just reached out, they messaged us on Facebook, and they basically said, hey, we love what you're doing in the community. We saw your pets and your Epic Day and all. Like, we don't know anything else about you, but we're going to work with you because we like what you're doing. So it had nothing to, I mean, they didn't see anything else, but that's a layup, I think, as Darren calls them. Those are the easy ones. You know, you love those.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. So I know from experience, just community events and charity events can be quite a bit of work. Last year, my husband and I hosted our first charity event, and it was to support kids with autism in our community. And it was a beach volleyball tournament that was super fun. And I mean, it was a huge success. Like 500 people came, and then we were able to raise enough money to support 7 kids through therapy for an entire year. So we were super excited about that.
What, something mountain?
Aquamarina Yacht Club.
I'm trying to remember. I thought I saw one.
Yep, Crotchet Mountain was the therapy center. Yep.
And so that was what it benefited, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we donated to that. I remember. That's what I was saying. I think I remember. So, we got behind it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just know how much work it was to do that. And I can't really take a lot of the credit because it was my husband doing like 99.9% of the work. But if somebody was wanting to do a community event or a charity event, do you have advice on, you know, what's the first step when it seems like a little bit overwhelming to take on a big project like that?
First advice is like, don't try to make it perfect, because it's not going to be, no matter how well you plan. So if you go into it with the wrong expectations, so set a clear expectation that perfection's overrated. The people are going to appreciate what you do no matter what you do. The second would be is just, you know, really try to think through what's it going to take to pull it off. Maybe don't go quite as big. I have a sort of a problem with going big on everything. I want it, the bigger the better. If some is good, more is better. And I think sometimes we, you know, scaled back is okay. You can always grow into it, you know, year after year if it's something you're going to do, but sort of go into it with the expectation that you're going to do the things that you know you can do really well. Lay it out, make some checklists, you know, do some things that you can do to get people in the community involved. So like, we couldn't pull off our food drive without the backpack director. Like, she helps us. You know, we reached out to her and told her, well, here's the idea. This is what we want to do. We're currently in talks for our third quarter one with the local kids museum. Their curator of their museum is one of our clients. And so, you know, talking with them about how can we create an event around that, but we can't pull that off ourselves completely. I mean, like, we need the help of other people. So, you know, find a few key people, I would say would be the other part, is a few key people who have those connections and can help you pull it off. Because if you try to do it all on your own, I do think it's very difficult to implement. And that's why probably people just don't start. It's like, it seems way too overwhelming, but just ask for help and don't try to be perfect, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll piggyback on that advice with Crotchet Mountain. They're like an established charity in New Hampshire. So when we reached out to them, they definitely helped us, and they were a huge part of it as well. So yeah. The
Blood Mobile is the same way. Our local blood, folks, she comes in and helps. They print all the stuff for us. They give us flyers to take places. Like, they provide the resources. We just provide the labor. Yep.
Very cool. Alrighty. So one of the big things I love about our system is how flexible it is. So we do, of course, have unlimited landing pages built into our technology where you have the Google or Facebook Connect, but then you also have the option of using no registration with your content. So even here at Curaytor, that's the route that we go. Like, we have the hit show, The Water Cooler. We put out a ton of blog content, and we don't like to make people register in order to watch The Water Cooler or read any of our blogs. So we go the no reg option. And what that does is it brings people to our website, and studies show that most people have to see 3 to 5 pieces of content before reaching out to a salesperson. And that's exactly what happens at Curaytor. We have strategic call to action throughout the site. So when people come and visit, and then when they're ready, they request a call. And what that does is it makes our lead conversion rate like go way up because they've already seen us, they know us, they like us. I know, Charles, you have a similar strategy with strictly no reg, and then you like to retarget them. Why did you decide to do no registration on your landing pages?
Well, honestly, Chris told me to at one point.
Yeah.
But
Listen to Chris,
when we were talking, that's right, Chris knows. No, I was talking with Chris, was following along. It was something you guys had already been using. I learned the value of having a bigger audience that's paying attention, I guess. And if we could get more people to actually pay attention and just enter the funnel and then retarget them with other good stuff that would do the converting for us over time, after after they were exposed to some of the things that we were already doing in the community or here at the office. I mean, we've done a lot of different things with videos and marketing. We want to showcase that to people. So if we try to lock them down on a registration post for a new listing or something else, I mean, it works. Those squeeze pages, they will get names and numbers, but then it forces me into more of I've got to sort of go down the path of I've got to try to reach out and call them and then, qualify and convert them, which that's worked for us in the past. I did that for years and years. I just enjoyed the content strategy more. So I was willing to put the work in to have some of the content, the blog posts, the things that Marketer helps us with, that puts out on a weekly basis. I wanted to layer all that together and get people seeing all of that. So I didn't want to sort of put up an unnecessary wall right out of the gate to get people to then immediately, they're going to get what they want. They're going to figure out how to get what they want. I do the same thing as a consumer. If you put up a registration, I know all I have to do is unsubscribe. So I'm going to give you my information, or I'm going to give you fake information, and then I'm going to unsubscribe if I don't want it. Well, now you've lost me anyway. And then I felt like, okay, well, did I get a chance to learn more about you or anything? So we just chose, like, we're not going to approach that way. We're going to get people to click on these. Our engagement went up with our posts. So our listing posts that we cab, a Curaytor term, as we cab listings or blogs or whatever, the engagement's up. People tag their friends more often because they're not locked down. If you see something that's locked down and makes you register, you're probably not going to tag a friend that looks at it too. But when it's not and you got to see it, hey, this is something you're looking for. And then our audience started to grow. And so our audiences in Facebook and all, we all want bigger audiences, I think, to have more potential people out of. So the no reg really helped us increase that, which then fuels our next layer of audience, which is our chunky middle and sort of our sweet spot, because now we're able to retarget people with those ads, and they're a little bit more, now they're zoning in and focusing on buyers, sellers, community stuff. So we can get them through the funnel a lot easier if we get them in there in the first place. And the no reg just felt like a fence or a wall that you're putting up between the people to get there. And I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's when you get people that say, like, I see you all over the place. Didn't you have that recently? Somebody saw a for sale sign of yours, but you've been really retargeting them. So he's like, oh, I see you everywhere.
Yeah, they saw one sign and they're like, oh, I see you everywhere. And they thought, but it was really because we're on their Instagram, we're on their Facebook, we're in their email,
right.
Like they're seeing it. And yeah, that's been a big blessing for that. So
nice. Yeah. So as far as just like a tactical advice type of thing. So here at Curaytor, we use our sales tool called Convert. So you can do behavior-based follow-up and call the right people at the right time. But if you're not a Curaytor client, you don't have Convert, you probably are working out of a CRM. What is your best advice for a CRM as far as either organizing it or tags or stages or anything that you think is helpful as far as managing a CRM for your brokerage?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously using the CRM we've had for a long time, even before Convert came out. Sometimes looking at a CRM is just sort of a fancy way of saying it's a fancy spreadsheet. And so most people, when you're just seeing names and numbers and data, it's hard to extract, like, what does this mean? And so, you can build smart lists built off different filters and things like that. You can create those. So that's one tool and one way to do it. That's the way we did it. So you would say, I want to see most recent visits, or I want to see people who, viewed a certain number of properties. You can do it that way. It requires manual labor and constantly checking it. What I love about like the Convert product that we have now is it's pulling that into almost like a news feed for folks that are in your system. And it's giving you the ability to then target down and, like, again, taking it and saying, I don't hear agents here's the data in the system, and here's the list. Here's a bunch of people that have been on the site. I hope you figure out what to talk to them about and are good at it when you call them. So it's more of a, okay, we have a new listing coming. Okay, so here's the tactical advice. All right, here's how we're using it. We have a new listing that's coming. So I know some markets you can't do coming soon. Ours is, but it's a workaround. So what we're doing is, hey, we've got a new listing coming. Our team knows it from our Trello boards and in our team meeting and pipeline. So we take that listing and say, hey, I build that out into the Trello thing and say, this one's going to launch on Wednesday. Okay, it's Monday. We have pictures back. Here they are. Take this. I built this little story for you in Instagram or whatever. Here's this posted in the board. Take this and, send it out. Go into Convert. Go into Facebook. Go find people who have looked at other similar listings to this one. So now I'm telling you what to search for. So, okay, now go to the system and find one of our most recent listings that was that we did a cab for or an ad for. And if it was similar in the same town, same price range, and there were a lot of people in there that actually clicked through and viewed it, then what Convert does on the other side is it allows us to go to that listings page and type in /convert and see everybody who looked at that listing. So then I'm just going to take those folks and we're going to message those out and say, hey, I saw you looked at this listing at 216 North Main Street. In Rutherfordton, that was $100,000. We have another one coming in on Wednesday that's very similar. It's not on MLS or Zillow yet. Would you like me to send you some details? That's a way for an agent to then go use that tool to actually know what they're going to say and then find who to say it to. And it makes that conversation, it gives them an angle. You and I talked about that. It's how can I give my agents an angle? Well, that's what Convert does. That's what, you can do that with your Facebook ads too, and layer a second thing on there is the last cab you did on Facebook. Go find the people who were tagged. Your Facebook page will allow you to message them as your page. Send them that message. Hey, I don't know if this one was not right for you or not, but we've got another one coming soon. Do you want me to send details? Well, you're using leverage that you have on something that's not there. You could have posted a coming soon and did a registration and got the same information from people willing to click on it. But message them directly on sort of a one-on-one is a lot higher quality conversion ratio, in my opinion, because the people see that, hey, you remembered me. You sort of went out of your way to message it to me. If you incorporate a video with it on your video, like not the clown face birthday one, but just do a quick messenger video and say, hey, Sarah, I see that you're on our site, and that you had looked at this listing over here. Well, that one's sold, but we've got another one coming just like it. Do you want the details on it? It's going to hit on Wednesday. I'll message you first as soon as it's available. Well, you're a lot more likely to get a response out of that that's positive versus, again, go back to registration stuff and why we went away. If I put that up, most of the comments were, why don't you just share the price? Why don't you just give us the stuff? Why do you make us sign up and register? And, it was like, well, that's just feeding my newsfeed with negativity and all. And I don't even like that to start with. So the two approaches are, I think night and day as to whether I'm going to sort of chase and force the business or attract it. And, I think that would be a huge tactical takeaway for most agents to implement is use what you've got that nobody else has. And then reach out to the people you've built throughout your audience that were willing to follow you and, allow a message to hit their inbox, because that's really what you've been working so hard on, is the permission to even talk to them again.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, I know we were talking earlier, but that's exactly what I've been doing for our sales team as well, is giving them like a really targeted list of, 15, 20 people plus an angle and conversation starters and a text and an email. I just feel like they feel more confident if they call a list and they're talking to them, calling them for a reason to give them relevant information. And even at Curaytor, we started giving our clients conversation starters. So I know that's been a big hit instead of, somebody just dialing for dollars and totally winging it on the phone. And we've actually seen our conversion rate go way up, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you can take anybody and say, hey, call this person and tell them this because they looked at that. Well, all right. That's a much higher chance of them, 1, doing it, 2, being successful when they do it, and 3, doing it again next time because it worked. It's kind of like it just builds those little momentums. It's little wins just stacked on top of each other over time. And that really improved. Like, then you can enjoy what you're doing, and then it's not, it's not miserable. Show up and put a headset on and call for 6 hours a day and, get hung up on millions of times. That's not enjoyable. I'm not doing that day to day.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a better way, that's for sure. So you guys, in a few minutes, we're going to be doing some Q&A with Charles. So it's going to be your opportunity to ask Charles anything. So definitely give us some questions. And before we get into that, Charles, I just have one more question for you. We have a lot of people online right now who are interested in hiring Curaytor to help grow their business. What advice do you have for these people?
Besides just do it.
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you, I stalked you guys for 6 months. I watched every water cooler episode that had been put out at the time.
Nice.
Darren can attest to how many text messages he and I shared between a lot of him just checking in with me. And I loved it because all he did was check in with me. It wasn't high pressured. It was, hey, how you doing? But I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. Like it wasn't the money. It was just, it's a totally different way of sort of looking at the business. It's very content generated. It's not just to throw money at it and hope numbers and names squeeze out. Like it's more of building a brand and a content strategy and actually having some of these easier layups, I think, is built. Like that's what I feel like Curaytor's helped us do. They've positioned us as a marketing firm that just happens to sell real estate, and we have a way to do it across all levels. So I feel like a lot of these I've had a lot of them. I won't name them, but I've had a lot of these lead generation buyer systems over the past 9 to 12 years when they started coming out. And I will tell you, Curaytor's totally different. I wouldn't be on here today. I wouldn't have our whole system built around that. I mean, that is the platform of everything we do. Like you said about landing pages, it's incredibly flexible. So we can do an Epic Pets page. We can do a listing page. You can write a blog post. You can do a Epic. It doesn't matter. It's extremely flexible. We can download buyer guides and, give people blueprints and stuff. So not many websites give you that option either. And then you layer in some of the other tools like Convert and Brain, where you can go research other people. Like there's a joke, everybody in the group called like, I'm the swipe and send, master, or the swipe and deploy thing. They're like, I'll stalk you. I'll find out what you're doing. Of course, we all share openly in Curaytor. So the mastermind group is insanely valuable for that reason. Probably worth the whole platform itself, to be quite honest with you, because the ideas and all that come out of there, which spur a lot of the things you guys then turn around and hand to other clients because they work well and we do share. But those are like, you just can't touch that with some of these other systems that just have more of a one-sided flow. And I think Curaytor does a good job of, really positioning us as an expert with, especially sellers. They come to us like, you're a marketing genius. So that's what we want. I'm not a marketing genius. I just hired you guys and y'all taught us how to be even better, marketers and do that. And I would say that's probably the one thing you get is the coaching and the growth, the mastermind, the support, the done for you. Like you don't go at it. You didn't just pay a monthly fee and then hope that because you paid for Google AdWords that leads showed up. You actually have a plan. And I think anybody that has a plan is going to be far more successful when the plan's not working. Okay, how do we tweak this? And you guys don't go away. Again, I can't tell you how it inspired every bit of way that we sort of run all these things we've just talked about with the Trello boards and creating things for them, because that's what you're giving us. So that's probably the main reason I would tell people Curaytor would be a really welcome change to what else you're seeing in the industry. It just, promises you great leads. They're not great leads.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's something that we both have in common is where Curaytor and you and other clients of ours, we don't make hundreds of calls a day. We really believe there's a better way to grow your business online with great marketing where your lead conversion rates can go up and also just your day-to-day and your happiness when you're not dialing for dollars and you're just focused on building your business and attracting people to you. So Charles, we had a huge internal announcement on Tuesday, and this is something that our marketing team, they haven't done any ads, we haven't done any emails, and Chris just launched this internally to our clients on Thursday. Do you want to tell everybody of what our big announcement was that we released last Thursday?
You mean Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. That's one of my biggest challenges. Like I actually love Instagram, especially from the fitness side. Like Instagram's always been the fitness space, right? So, I mean, I've been on there for a long time for that reason. Trying to crack the code for Instagram with real estate has been a little bit more challenging for me. Facebook was easy, I thought. Instagram's been a little more challenging, but you guys have really rolled out a plan with Instagram that I can see actually making making waves for us. So as marketer clients, I know we get, you guys are going to start running some Instagram ads for us, just like you do on the Facebook side. And I couldn't be more pumped because, we have some pillar pieces on Instagram like we talked about, but to have you guys take that over and run it too, holy cow, that's incredible. I can't wait.
Awesome. Yeah, we're super excited about it. And we only have a few spots left, about 10. So if you guys are interested in learning more about our Instagram, we actually do Instagram ads and Instagram stories. The way I see it, we really have 3 options. If you guys aren't familiar with Curaytor at all and you'd like to just chat and see how we can help your business, type the word demo in the chat. So this is people that need, a one-on-one consultation. We'll dig deep, see what you're currently doing now, and see how we can make some big improvements there. If you are a current customer with us and you have a marketer contract pending, I'd recommend just signing that contract because we only have a few spots left, and that's a marketer doing your Instagram ads and stories for you. And then also, I know we have a lot of people online that have already been working with our sales team. So if you're ready to go, just drop your zip code in the chat. We do work on an exclusive basis so we can see if your area is still available, and we'll reach out to you guys. All righty.
Can I add one thing real quick there?
Sure.
So when Marketer first came out, I wasn't sure about, how will it fit in that? Because that's part of what I do here on our team is marketing. And, I thought okay, well, somebody else can do it. The consistency and the freedom that it gives me, because I know there is scheduled content going out that's being written and tested across, lots of different marketers, different clients, different areas. That has helped me a lot because now I'm able to I don't have to worry about all that extra little marketing stuff. I can do the fun stuff like posting sold pictures with our clients that we do a lot after they sign our wall. And I still do marketing, but you guys are taking a base level for us. That's a very solid foundation for me to then layer in all these other things we're able to do. If I was focused on all that, I couldn't do the epic pets. I couldn't do the other stuff. I certainly couldn't have the time to spend on the systems and things like the Trello boards and the prospecting blueprint and like that. So marketer, that is an upsell for marketer. I'll tell you that because I was very hesitant at first, and I wouldn't no, I'm not getting rid of marketer now by any chance. So it's a less than full-time employee cost-wise that gives me the ability to have a full-time employee that I don't pay taxes on and train. And our marketer actually just switched, and I have no issues whatsoever with that. Only because I know you guys have trained them. You're right there with them, and I don't have to. So I would highly recommend that if somebody's on the fence.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, they work right in this office with Chris Smith, and Chris and Jimmy actually come up with all the content for you. So it is an amazing program, and it is almost sold out. So yeah, let us know if you guys are interested, and let's get into some of these questions. So let's see here. All right, Charles. So someone who is starting out with video, what do you recommend they start with as far as a content? What would be a good video to kind of get their feet wet?
Is this more of you say starting out in real estate altogether and doing video, or just they've been, already in real estate and doing video? Yeah,
I think just I don't really know specifics, but just a realtor that hasn't tried video yet.
I would say something that you can do without a lot of editing and a lot of production. Don't worry about getting the fanciest cameras, trying to get it off and do software and edit. Do something you can do live on your phone. Pick something that you can just go live on Instagram or Facebook or both, and make sure that it's easy to put out. So, go interview somebody Jordan Rossman style, real easy at a new business that's opening. Go, have a client who is a great client, or go talk to some of your past clients who would do it for you in a heartbeat, and have them just do a little quick 30-second, of why they should work with you. And you can always keep a lot of those and make a really cool little testimonial easily on your phone with some of these things. So I would say the biggest key on that, do it where it's simple with the tool you already have, and then figure out if you need something else down the road, that gets bigger and more expensive and more complicated, because that can become overwhelming. And, I think keeps a lot of people from starting oh, what microphone do I get? Oh, what camera do I need? What lens do I have? Does it have perfect light? Forget all that. Just do it.
Yeah, that's great advice. And a lot of our clients have similar advice because they're starting to get into video as well. And a lot of people are nervous to get started. And I think it's a matter of just doing it, doing a Facebook Live and getting more comfortable and going from there.
Yeah, you can, just one tip for people, go into a Facebook group, create a group for your own office if you don't have one, and for your team or your whatever, and go live and practice in there. So that like you can get used to being live, if you're so worried about messing up. I actually personally love live more. It's not expected to be perfect. So if you kind of make a blunder, if you say something, you just start. When the camera's just sitting there and you're supposed to, it can be edited and clipped and start, it takes longer. You try to be more scripted and perfect, I think, in a lot of ways. And that's hard to get over when that's not what you do every day as an actor or an actress or whatever. But live, man, once you get used to it, it's good. Just do it. It's fun.
Yeah. Awesome. So you have your team called, and you mentioned that you give your agents a list to call, a couple of people to call in your angle. Do you have like any schedule for them as far as when they do make phone calls? I know like a lot of your strategy is, outreach through social media, but as far as like using Convert and that sort of thing, do you have a specific schedule for them?
Not as much a specific schedule. And if I understand that right, you're saying when an agent actually picks up the phone to make a call to somebody, or if you're asking them to make that part of their schedule every day. Is that like as far as the process, or predetermined just be on the phones?
Yeah, the process of it. Do you have a specific process for them?
Okay. Yeah, no. So it's more of like, you have to have some intuition on that. You have to understand, like, get somebody communicating, get a response. Like the first part of just getting started with this is think about like, what is it that would make them respond to you with more than just a yes or no? Can you ask open-ended questions? If you can do that and just get a response, at that point, people will generally open up to you and they'll tell you things. And it's like, hey, I feel like it would be great time for us to actually jump on a quick call so I can, it sounds like we'd be a good fit to work together. Let me get some more details from you, and then we'll go from there. So the agent's got to know when to pull that up. I wouldn't do that. I don't want to say I wouldn't do that off the front. If somebody's looked at, so for instance, Blue messaged me one earlier. So he's sort of playing backstop on that. We talked about that. And he saw somebody who had looked at and opened like 3 of the past 4 seller focused email blasts that we had sent. And they've been in our database for a long time and Convert. He messaged me this morning and said, hey, this Barbara lady, you probably should reach out to her because she's opened a lot of stuff here recently and it looks like she's there. Well, it turns out she got her tax assessment in from the reevaluation and it was higher. And she's like, hey, if it's worth this, I'm going to sell it. So, it's a conversation. And so I'm going to call her immediately. I don't need to try to email and I just want to have a call with her because she's already opening stuff and she's to that point. But if somebody just registered, and maybe they're just looking on a few things, like I'm not worried about calling them right away yet. Like I'm going to try to shoot them, some other messages and then let that play out and see if they are welcoming and warm to it. I don't want to run them off before they've had a chance to go back to our other analogy. Let them put their coat down. Let them try to find a safe spot in the bar and sit down for a minute before you go over and immediately start asking for the close.
Yeah, that's what we do at Curaytor too. We don't call people if they read a blog post. We wait until, they actually, with Convert, they actually earn points as they engage in our marketing, visit our website, open emails. So we wait till they get their feet wet and are more, established with their brand before we would reach out for sure.
Well, and if you can follow those people and Convert. So if you go in and you have people that are like really hot out of the gate, or they've got a lot of back to the sites reading stuff, follow them for a little bit and look at them, and then you'll notice if you keep watching those people when their activity levels go from sort of steady and then all of a sudden there'll be a spike. Call in. That's when you call, because now their behavioral activity is like, all right, now I clicked on 2 other things. I looked at your testimonials page. I read your about page. I was on the home value page and I didn't fill it out. That's a seller all day long. Call that person. Like, just reach out. And then you don't have to tell them, hey, I know everything you did on our website because I could see you. That's kind of a little creepy. But it's like, hey, I see you on the side and probably acting around. Then that's where you can come up with your team and stuff. Like, how do you approach those conversations to get a more meaningful conversation started versus hey, can I help you? Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. So Charles, we'll end with this last question. So you're doing a lot of videos and doing a lot of content that are unlocked, not making people register. How do you track your ROI of just your marketing activities in general? It's a tough one, I know.
Well, I don't know. Was it Gary Vee that said, "How is the ROI of your mom?" You know, like how do you measure that? I will say, well, one, let's put it this way. If I told my team tomorrow that I was going to stop doing videos and the blogs and the posts and the things that we do that way, they'd revolt. It wouldn't have, like that's my ROI. Like our business, it just wouldn't function without it. We've talked about this. Like just because I can't measure one blog post or one cab new listing or one Epic Pet, I don't know what one Epic Pets post did for us. I have no idea. It's part of this. Like I consider it just keep stacking things on top of each other, little things over time. And at some point, you're going to have this really big, skyscraper. They build them in levels, and it starts to, once you get a foundation built, at a certain point, you watch it, like you set it all up, it just explodes. And so we've seen that growth over time. It took a little bit of time to get there, but I can't track it to one single thing. Plus, you guys have taught us how to so well include our past clients in our sphere into those audiences that they also see me when I coach my son's soccer team, when I'm at the gym, when we're out to a movie or dinner or over at a friend's house for something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know how to track any of those either, but so many people are okay with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to answer that question to a number. I can just say if it went away, we'd look totally different in the way our business, brings money to the bottom line because it's layers. It's not the whole piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Is that okay of an answer? I mean, I don't know how to answer that one.
Yeah, no, that's good. And another way to think about it, like, has your business grown in the past 3 years? Are you making more money? Are you attracting clients? Are you attracting, new business? So
well, okay, I'll answer it this way then. Like, if you're an agent who's wondering, how do I grow a team, or a owner of a firm, how do I attract agents? Well, the agents want a lot of the same things that we want from you guys at Curaytor. We want a lot of it done for us. We want it to be easy. We want layups. There's a lot of those things that I have no way to track with the agents who are now joining our team because of the way we do business. Well, how am I going to bring to the office over the long haul of being part of the Epic Life team and part of this unit that operates together? To me, that's the part that there's no way I'm ever going to measure that, but I am seeing huge growth. And our team has grown from about 80 transactions when Blue and I first started the first year, 130 plus last year. The team has grown, or the volume and production is there. And I mean, I'm enjoying what I do each day. So, if I'm making more, growing more and more agents, we're all having fun doing it. That's a positive ROI. I don't need a number on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. And your video was breaking up. Yeah, you are. Hi. Yeah, for people that couldn't hear him, he said he went from 80 transactions to 130 transactions, and he's adding new agents to his business. Charles, do we lose you?
Yeah, it says I'm restored now. I'm sorry. I didn't move, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. But yeah, I mean, that's all we got for you guys. So definitely reach out to us in the chat if you're interested in learning more about Curaytor. And yeah, we'd love to chat with you. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks, Charles, so much.
Thanks, Sarah. I enjoyed it.
All right. See you guys.